Welcome to The Divide with Mike and Corey.
Hopefully our disagreements one day bring us all together.
So stupid. So corny and so stupid. I hope our disagreements bring us together.
Yeah, I do.
Shut up, Porter. Hey, I'm just trying to have a little friendly conversation.
This is The Divide.
And welcome everybody to The Divide on Fox Sports The Gambler, 102.5 Philly, 104.1 Trenton. It's Good Friday.
Yeah.
We're hoping to turn your Good Friday into a great Friday.
Where's my Volpe, John Jansen?
Where's my
Volpe?
Where's my brace?
Where's my anything? Because nobody played yesterday,
Oh my God.
and that's annoying.
The weather. But the weather looks bad.
It rained so much, I have sunburn.
First of all, yesterday was the nicest day of the week.
81 degrees.
It was
plus.
fantastic.
Yeah,
I put the air conditioner on in my car for the first time in forever.
dude.
And I just wanted to sit down. Huge, busy day for me.
Mhm.
First of all, a lot of people don't know this. You know this. I talked to you a couple times, but it's my spring break week.
No.
And I can't begin to share all the fun things I've done this. Like I did my taxes.
Great job.
Super fun. I did a little bit of cleaning.
Way to procrastinate.
I've done the dishes twice this
Okay,
week
Okay.
out of the 5 days that current. So it's getting pretty. It's like spring break of old over here.
You
at
also
my
went,
house.
you also went golfing to get ready for the swinging and dinging.
I did.
Golf out.
I'm telling you, I'm not losing to brace.
okay.
I'm not.
No.
And with the way I swung the clubs first time since last October, picking up where I left off. So
Is that the thing we're gonna do? Like a 2-on-2? Is that the game plan?
I don't even know. Is he
Get him in
is
our
he
foursome?
In our force, I'd
I
love
would
to have him in
assume
our
so.
foursome.
That'd be hurtful.
I mean, look, we can still challenge him and compare scores at the end. I just don't trust him. It's gonna be like, what did you shoot? What did you shoot? It's gonna, and you always got to try to find a few less, but still believable.
Well, we're currently off the air because Corey doesn't trust our program director, so he's like, trust this.
No, I mean, I'm not saying he's a guy to lie about his golf score, but you put a little friendly wager on there, a couple bucks.
No,
you want to be there to watch the guy.
I was fortunate enough to be in his foursome for the Tallarita golf outing. We our friendship started there. I mean, Mike introduced us at the first Swinging and Dinging event.
Oh yeah,
and Mike Tallarita was like, "Hey, this guy had A-Rod on his podcast," and Sean said, "What?" And a couple of explicits, and he's like, "How the heck did you do that?" I showed him the USA Today article, and and then Jeff partnered us up for the Tallarita event, and it was awesome. But Brace is like the guy you want to be. I almost said in a foursome. That sounds terrible.
We're talking golf here.
He's a fun guy to golf with, for
of
sure.
course, but how is his game?
It's he gets around. He gets off the box. He gets out of the box.
Any guy that's part of a foursome, I think, gets
Yeah.
around. You know what I mean? I can't wait, man. Golfing weather, baseball weather, with the exception of yesterday, even though it was baseball
It's
weather.
crazy.
So every team in this area, I feel like canceled.
Yeah.
Phillies canceled.
Mhm.
Yankees at Baltimore
Canceled.
because they were going to have inclement weather.
No.
And then, of course, the Mets were slated to host the Marlins. Cancel or postpone. I can't keep saying cancel,
yeah.
but postpone. You guys know what we mean.
They got
but-
that built-in day, so they won Friday. But today's a little bit colder, obviously, and yesterday was amazing out. But it just I kept looking at my phone. I was like, man, they must know something I don't know. And it turns out, no, my phone's smarter than billionaires.
I see both sides. Like, I get the
Mhm.
logistics of it. You don't want to have 20,000 people show up
Yes, you do.
for
Especially
nothing.
in Philly. That could have been for Xfinity
Oh,
Live.
dude, that would have been a party.
Yeah, and then all right, the game's canceled. Let's go to the casino. Like
Yeah.
if I'm Xfinity, I'm calling the owners of
You got a
Phillies
good
like,
point.
yo, bro, we could have had a 2 for,
Safety first, man.
I
You don't want these
guess,
people
I
driving out
guess.
in what is
They would've
possibly the
loved it.
second
They would've
tornado
loved
in 7 days.
Oh, that was nuts, man. WrestleMania 1, the first night of WrestleMania. Yeah, we didn't get power until the main event back. It was
So
brutal.
you mentioned
Mhm.
that since I'm not an avid wrestling watcher,
Yeah,
that WrestleMania is now a 2-day event.
it is.
Do you care to explain that for people that also don't watch fake stuff? I
Yeah.
mean, professional wrestling. I'm kidding.
It happened around the COVID situation. So they weren't. They wanted to make it a bigger pop. They didn't have a crowd right at the time.
It used to be just
So
Sundays.
they were like just 2-night
or
events.
a Sunday.
Yeah, it would just be Sundays. Pay-per-views were always Sundays.
Right.
Every kid in the world that watched WWF would be upset the next morning because they had to go up to school. And and parents are upset because I did not want to get out of bed.
Oh,
So it's Saturday, Sunday. Sunday's still the main card.
okay.
Saturdays, I mean, except for this year, you could argue Saturday was much better than Sunday, just from a result perspective. But it was fun until it wasn't. So like it's like literally like 5 minutes before it's supposed to start, we just lose power. There's hail bouncing off the driveway.
It was crazy.
And going back 12 feet in the air. Like it was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. We lost power. And I can't complain because towns around us were hit with tornadoes. People lost their houses. It's crazy to the point where we're being coined the new Tornado Alley.
Are we really?
Yeah, I heard. As soon as you said that, I saw an NJ.com article, and
I was
like, do we? Is Corey?
So what I had said wasn't that
Ghost
like
Rider?
what I
NJ.com.
So I'm talking to Mike the other day, you guys,
Yeah.
and the tornado. It's been like 2 tornadoes that touched down in like the last month in our area in West Jersey, central West Jersey. So the comment I made was basically like how crazy that is, but also how quick we're just like, oh yeah, that's crazy. And then we just go back
and
to
we
life.
don't even care.
Where if this was 10, 15 years ago, we're like, what, a tornado?
No
way.
There would have been a music festival.
It's like the blizzard of 96.
Yeah.
I say blizzard of 96, and everybody that was alive, right, we're like, wow, no, it's 6 feet of snow. You know what I mean?
Yo, speaking of wrestling, so we had a deck. I'm saying a deck.
I got you.
It was a big deck. A giant deck.
Well,
actually.
if you're gonna have any deck to show off, it should be a substantial size.
During that blizzard, it was like the snow was like right to the deck.
It was on top of your deck.
It wasn't on top of the deck.
Okay.
So my brother and I, we shoveled said deck,
Uh-huh.
threw all the snow onto the sides because it was really easy. And then we had our own Royal Rumble. We invited dude, we were
tossing people over the deck onto the
side
snow.
of the deck. Dude, it was crazy. I powerbombed Carl, and he like weighed like 40 pounds at the time.
He weighs like,
And,
what,
like,
60 now?
He went straight to the ground. I don't know, man. That guy's roided up. Have you seen Carl? You saw him at Jen's 40th.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen him in person.
Yeah,
I saw pictures of him when he went in.
You guys were eyeing each other up at Jenny's 40th.
But I'll smack Carl around. I don't care.
That's how I feel too. Funny story. Somebody stole something from his place of work. And like it was a scrawny dude. I was like, "You're telling me you didn't lace this guy up?" I was like, "You with your fake muscles." So it's pretty funny.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's this the weather back then. If something crazy happened, we would talk about it forever. 2 tornadoes in a month, and we're like, what else is new?
Yeah.
What else is new? So Thursday came and went. No big weather situations. We missed out on baseball. Hockey, the games are kind of meaningless at this point because your playoff bracket's set, so it doesn't really mean anything. So it's kind of
never means anything.
Yesterday was a lackluster day. Exactly.
Yeah.
Which brings us now to Good Friday.
Mm.
The weekend's going to roll in. Baseball on Easter, which is going to be fantastic. But I don't want to talk about any of that yet. We'll get to that later in the show. I want to talk about, you had a nice little early week on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You did the daily ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So my co-host here is either being modest or just like tornadoes. It's just they come and go and he forgets about it. So Tuesday he was on the daily ticket. He filled in him and Jansen.
Jansen filled in for Brace. I filled in for Jansen.
Okay.
And by filling in, I paid zero attention. No, I'm just kidding. No, I was building my parlays. He knew that, and he kicked it to me when we did. We actually talked about one of your favorite movies, John Wick, because he's starting to watch it. I've refused to watch it because in the brothers text, you guys would always talk about it, and I never.
It's just John Wick movies fall into the same category for me as the Fast and the Furious movies.
Yes,
they can make 1 million of them.
Yes, that's what.
And I will go watch because the man in me, I'll say it, just wants to see people get blown up, cars go fast, and loud booms. You know what I mean? I like what I like, people.
So
It-
I haven't watched it, but I use that I'm thinking I'm back meme way too much. And I
Mhm.
said, for that, I feel like I need to give it a shot.
You
And
do.
that's what we do around here.
There-
We give people
you
a
gotta
shot.
give him a shot.
But I got a shot to one, not only sit in with the daily ticket, but to premiere something.
That's right. So
Yeah.
after the daily ticket, immediately after the daily ticket,
Yeah.
my co-host here every Tuesday from here on out is
Mhm.
going to host his own show called Powers Parlays. I love the name, by the way.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I love it.
It's
Powers
actually
Parlays.
really cool.
So I was lucky enough to call in and get my call today. I'm sure the
you were.
switchboard was lighting up. A few other people called in. So if you guys are traveling somewhere, if you're near the radio, near a phone, and you want to add your 2 cents, this is a show
Mhm.
that deals with parlays,
Literally add your 2
betting
cents.
action. Whether you think it's good, bad, but the guy's taking live phone calls and he wants to hear from you. It's like Francesa's show, but he doesn't fall asleep
I almost
while
did.
you talk to him. No, you didn't stop.
I know, I'm just kidding.
I-
I was, dude, it was a brutal day. Like I
was
came
a
home,
long
I was
day.
sore. Yeah, it
Long
was.
day.
It was good though, dude. Adrenaline. I think it was really just the adrenaline. And Jansen's like, "You ready?" I didn't have. I've been working the boards and shadowing Jansen, Kyle, Brace since January. So
With
since it
producing,
started.
yeah,
so
correct.
so yeah. So sat in with some Villanova games with him and in Tansy. So I was ready to take over the boards, but he kind of was like, "Yo, dude, I want you to just focus on being a host today. I'll take care of the boards." So it was really cool, but like the adrenaline was definitely pumping. I haven't, I convinced Corey to join the divide and shoot this off was because I didn't want to be a solo man. I
Yeah.
feel like we're good together. We had great chemistry. We helped build this network and podcasts that are on it. So like it was like I just want to shoot the what with you, but now like, Brace was like, I have this idea, like I want you to take over Tuesday nights. I was like, I'm in, and I want you to learn the board so I could get you more involved. So yeah, I'm totally for it. The cool thing is we've learned how to navigate the world of parlays, you and I, and the two that I
With a learning
gave,
curve, but-
yeah, the two that I gave both hit. So it was awesome.
So that was fantastic. I gave you
Yeah.
a parlay, a Yankees parlay, and that was because the Yankees are a giving organization. So that was the one day, Tuesday in
Yeah.
Philadelphia, if you remember, where the Yankees gave you guys your first win
They
of the
did.
season, the only win at this point.
Yeah.
But well, I can't say that for sure.
Dude, it was awesome. Schwarber hits that home run. So we wrap up. It's like 7:05.
Mhm.
Jansen shuts it down. We're walking in the cars. I turn on the car. I'm listening to radio, and I hear that Kyle Schwarber just hit a home run. Right?
He launched.
Launched a
friggin'
home
thing.
run. So Phillies are winning. I get back out of my car, and I'm like, I look up in the heavens. I'm not a religious guy, but I'm like, I need this. So for the first time in my life, I'm hooked. I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm Red October, baby. I'm all in. I'm singing.
Well, there's a lot of pressure. I
Yeah.
mean, even and Jansen has talked about this before
Yeah.
on the Daily Ticket and even in his own endeavors.
Mhm.
Like you do a sports radio show. Like we're
Nah.
a sports radio show.
You're gonna be
and
wrong more than
people
you're gonna be right.
expect you to know everything.
Yeah.
Who won this 3 years ago? Who did that? What was the
Yeah.
score of this? And honestly, we forget more things. There's times where you bring up
Dude.
stuff we've talked about on the show, and I'm like, we did.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I
yeah.
mean? It's
No, I
life.
get that,
It is what
yeah.
it is. So yeah, when you're talking bets and parlays,
Mhm.
especially for your debut, you needed that
Yeah.
little special something. And boy, did you get it. I'll
Yeah.
tell you one thing. I was mad that the that the Yankees lost that night.
Right.
With all love, I was more mad that you were so right about that parlay. I was like, no way, this
I've-
guy's crazy.
I've had some on-air luck for sure. The post, the
Mhm,
octopus.
mhm.
Now,
Octopus
now
for sure.
both of my parlays. The Marlins parlay also hit. If you want to check it out, go to Fox PHL, the Gambler.
Yeah.
.com or check it out on our socials as well, or the Divide Live socials. But yeah, all the videos are there. It was awesome, dude. Like, and Trey Turner gets a base knock, but he doesn't get that if the shift is still there.
Mm-mm.
So I was like, thank you,
Thank
Rob
you,
Manfred.
Thank you. 2023.
Yeah.
Guys, check out Powers Parlays. It's
you.
right after the Daily Ticket, Tuesdays, call up. You can talk parlays. You can argue, disagree, do anything but curse, really. But, instead of listening to Mike talk to all of his friends on his usual Friday spot, you get to call in and be his friend every Tuesday. If you're cooking up a parlay, spread the wealth. Do not hold it for yourself. Let everybody know so you can make some money along with everybody else, because that's what Mike's doing on Tuesday. So you want to contribute as well. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit of football. Lamar Jackson just keeps finding ways to get agitated down in Baltimore, and Tyreek Hill's talking about retirement.
Jeez.
Well, you'll see what we mean. Catch it next on a Divide Live. Fox Philly, The Gambler.
Baseball season normally brings us together, unless you're listening to The Divide. Now, here's Mike and Corey.
And we are back, everybody, on this Good Friday. You know what'll make a Good Friday even better?
No.
Check out Arita's near you.
You went?
I did go. So
Yeah.
last week we had the Rita's contest where
Right.
we said we were on YouTube Live. We said go ahead and subscribe, like, drop us a comment. We'll pick a winner. We picked the winner, sent it on out. But from Sunday, from talking about Rita's, and dude, I wasn't exaggerating when I text. Like, it's been the last time I was at a Rita's was in high school, so
Right.
at least 18 years ago, which is
Yeah.
crazy to say out loud. And we get there. I call into your Powers. It was Tuesday. I called
was
into the
gonna ask,
Powers parlay.
You know what's funny? Like, we know we're on break. You thought you were on the air.
When I
right?
first
When you
called.
first called. You're like,
Yes.
glad to be on. I was like, oh, he doesn't know we're on
That's 'cause
break.
Jansen answered the phone like
Like-
normal. Like, I was listening to Gambler, and I'm like, hey, turn on my radio, whatever. I'm just like, no, you guys could. He's like, yeah, we got 2 more minutes to run. I'm like, on. It's on right
I
now.
just gave you
dude.
some great quality
Like,
content.
come on, man. I could have been myself if you knew like that.
Yeah.
You know how you're supposed to, it's like when you answer the phone
Uh-huh.
on speaker and there's people around and
Yeah.
you're like, hey, so you're on speaker. Like he answered it like we were just
Yeah.
on air already.
That's great.
And unfortunately, where I live, the Gambler, I can't get it on the radio, so I listen to it on the internet on,
well,
on
and
the
it's
webpage, and it's
behind.
delayed.
Yes.
So I
right.
still think you guys are on the air. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, they're just pushing the break. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, 2 more minutes to run. I'm like, on.
Dude,
What is
because
this?
you also got to think like radio slightly delayed.
Yeah, a few
God forbid you
seconds.
say something,
Of course.
and then yeah, streaming's even more delayed. So
No, man. So we go to Rita's. It was beautiful out Tuesday, and it was so good.
did Jansen recommend anything? Because you were like, tell Jansen the black cherry was good or something.
No,
or
so
what happened?
he had said, I was like, yo, I'm just outside the Rita's hanging before when during the break. And he's like, oh man, I love Rita's. He said he got the gummy bear or
the gummy bear.
the
one,
gummy
yeah.
bear flavor.
Yeah.
My wife got the Oreo one.
Okay.
She enjoyed it. And
Yeah.
then there was just so many selections. I did the gelati, which is like, I guess,
Cool.
gelato and the ice at the same time with black cherry and vanilla.
Nice.
And my God,
That was good.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. So check out Rita's near you guys. Proud partner with the Divide Live, guys. Check them out. I mean, be cool. Go to Rita's. It's just
yeah.
it's in the DNA, especially on a hot summer day, spring day, whatever day.
It's
just
in
go
the
to Rita's.
DNA
It's
on
in
a
the
s-
DNA on a
on a
sun. I'm spitting
hot
fire
summer
tonight.
day. Yeah.
That's how excited I am. You know who's not excited?
Who's not?
There's a segue for you. Lamar Jackson.
LJ.
LJ. We talked about him last week. He wants that fully guaranteed contract. This week, Baltimore Ravens doubled down and said, yeah, we would be interested in just trying to draft for a QB. And that's exactly where they're headed.
Wow.
They're in the process of trying to get a quarterback either later in the round, first round, or trading up for one. That's where their head's at. They're fully committed to not having Lamar Jackson back this season.
Right.
But if you're Lamar, you have to feel some sort of way
Oh, absolutely.
about not getting any guaranteed money from Baltimore.
No.
You got teams that aren't offering you anything because you're being basically they're making an example of you, because if they give him what he wants, it sets the precedent for everybody. And we talked about the business last week. I know we
give
did.
everybody what they want. They give everybody what they want. And then they make one or two examples. Like, stop. It makes me angry because, like, you could ride a bike and just wait for a better contract. You could just refuse to play. You could not, Tom Brady could leave the entire month of August. You know what I mean? Like, so there's exceptions for everybody. And then every so often we want to make an example out of somebody because we're old head owners. But go ahead. I digress.
No, you're 100% right here. It's ownership versus the players. They pick and choose what they want to take a stand for. And in this
Dude.
case, what they're trying to do is year after the last 3 years, you've seen some players get some insane money, and
No.
they're trying to stop the bleeding, because if people keep playing, if these players keep playing at the caliber they are,
Right.
they're well-deserved money. They're going to need it, and they're going to demand it. And these owners don't want to shell out any more money than they have to, because then that would take their worth from a couple billion to maybe only 100 or so million. And that would be so tough for these
No.
guys to deal with.
There's so many people that won championships off of LJ fantasy championships.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So like, especially his first few years. So I mean, it's just so silly to think that this is, and also like you know, from a franchise standpoint, like you tag players all the time. Like, you know, the Giants are dealing that right now with Barkley. Like, he's not happy that they tagged him, you know? So I mean, it's just dude, I don't know, like it rubs me the wrong way to the point where I don't even want to talk about it anymore, because it's just gonna grind my gears until I stop talking.
It's so the Ravens allegedly guaranteed Jackson $200 million.
Mhm.
But it seems like they're more committed to the whole league's fight against that fully guaranteed
That's the Players Association versus the
deal.
owners.
And that's
Yeah.
and that's what it is. But it's just each team is sending mixed messages. You know, you got $230 million the Browns gave Deshaun Watson.
Right.
They guaranteed $230 million.
That's crazy, right?
Like,
a guy who's a questionable character, you know,
Yeah.
has had issues, regardless if they're criminal or not. They're concerning employee issues, and you paid them.
like just offer Lamar $260 million.
Right.
Guaranteed that
Right.
you're still the most guaranteed. Like,
Mhm.
it doesn't make any sense.
No.
Will they end up getting a quarterback? I mean, if they do, it'll seal the deal. There's no hope of
It's also
of Lamar Jackson coming back at this point.
muddy in the waters with the whole Aaron Rodgers situation, this whole thing. So it's like it's just
Well, what situation? That's the other thing too.
Yeah.
Like, what situation?
Yeah, he's supposed to be a
It's-
Jet, right?
Yeah, well, the apparently
allegedly.
Green Bay is asking for too much. The Jets don't want to give it up now. That's a
Yeah,
whole mess. It's like,
nah.
talk about opening your mouth before showing the money. Like,
Yeah.
you don't, especially in the New York media, don't do this. Don't go
Well, that's
go
the-
making promises.
But that's the other thing. So the Packers have all the cards now, because you heard on the Pat McAfee show that Aaron wants to be a Jet.
Mhm.
You heard the Jets want Aaron, and the Packers have Aaron. So it's like, I have what you want.
of course,
You know?
of course,
Yeah.
they created this whole mess
Mhm.
off everything just being, I guess, that transparent of how much they wanted this deal.
Yeah.
So the Packers are like, okay, well, here's what we want,
Right.
and then the Jets are like, well, we're not going to do that.
That's
Well, what are you
crazy.
opening up your mouth for?
Yeah.
So now you have Lamar Jackson, you have Aaron Rodgers, and you have all this potential, and no one is budging.
No.
It's crazy to me. And of
Absolutely
course,
crazy.
in the background, something that no one cares about, you got Cam Newton listing teams that he would be okay with being a backup for.
Right.
I'll play for this team, Bebe. I'd be okay with that.
Cam.
Nobody cares.
Right.
Zero people care, Cam, about who you would be okay being a backup for. Do you want a job or not?
Right.
If you want a job, you're going to be okay with it.
Yeah, and in the way quarterbacks go out, like I would in the twilight of my career, I would love to be a backup, just because I know I could easily get traded to a team and pull off like a Nick Foles type thing. You know,
Not a backup quarterback, though. I want to be a backup punter. That's what I want
Okay.
to be. That's what I want to be.
All right.
Switch over. Aside from Lamar Jackson, aside from Aaron Rodgers, some news was made via football, NFL, yesterday. I think it was Thursday. Tyreek Hill shocked, and I say
Oh, you were
shocked the
so
sports
upset about
world
this.
by announcing that he plans to retire at the end of his current contract, which I believe is 2025. 2025. He said on a local radio station, he said, I'm going to finish out this contract with the Dolphins, and then I'm going to call it quits. And I thought to myself, nobody cares.
You don't care?
I don't care
Why?
because I look at it like a business.
Okay.
And First of all, because I'm a huge hater, even though I love the Dolphins,
Okay.
Tyreek Hill being on the team doesn't matter because we don't have anybody throwing the ball.
Right.
Our current quarterback thinks he's an actual Dolphin because his brain is so scrambled from 3 concussions in like
I thought
3
Dolphins are
weeks.
smart though.
They're supposed to be.
Yeah. I'd say he's like a guppy. No,
He's,
he's not a
he's
dolphin.
like I don't even know.
Which way do I
what's
go?
the fish
Which way
from
do I
Finding
go?
Nemo that just
Oh,
keeps
Dory?
forgetting things?
Dory?
That's what
You're
that's
gonna
what
know
Tua's
all
like
that
right
in
now.
a couple months, just so you know.
I am.
Yeah.
Listen, I still have
Gonna
some
be
time.
a Disney dad.
But
Our
I mean, look,
podcast is gonna change.
Tyreek Hill is a great athlete. I'd be sad to see him go, but at the same time, I don't understand why more of these football players don't do it.
Yeah.
There's longevity in
Well, look at
baseball.
Romo. Right?
There's got to be there has to be longevity in hockey because they don't get
Mhm.
paid that much
Mhm.
money.
Mhm.
But football, you get paid if you're, a superstar athlete. You get the type of athletes we're talking about here. You get paid a large amount of money for 4 or 5 year contract, more than enough money they need to live their lives happily, and they just keep just putting their body through the workouts, the pain, the contact, the head injuries. I don't understand why most football players don't just play 5 years, make a buck, and bounce.
Yeah.
Make some investments and live happily the rest of your life.
Right.
So Tyreek Hill said there's still a whole bunch of things he wants to do in his life. And that retirement at his kid. I mean, what does he have to lose? He's got more money than he'll ever know what to do with.
Yeah.
He has won a Super Bowl.
Right.
So he's got a ring and he's happy. He got paid. He's played somewhere warm and that's it. Do I think he's going to go back on his word? I think we're all kind of thinking that at this point, only because with the Tom Brady dilemma and everything else, it's just like nobody stays retired.
Yeah.
Even Kelsey was like, I'm going to call it quits. Never mind. I'm just kidding. Like he's
LOL.
Yeah. Jason, it's,
I mean, look at Brady, right? Everybody does that. I think it's the new thing. Gronk did it to avoid a trade once.
He did.
So maybe that's what your guy's doing anyway. Like, just to
think
keep himself off the trading block.
A part the
know.
negative person in me is gonna because even though Tyreek's still a top 5 wide receiver and he puts up great numbers, in Miami with what we'll call half a quarterback or a quarterback with half a brain, I just think he knows he's probably on the back 9 of his career.
Okay. I mean, he could catch anything, dude. That's the only thing I would say.
Well, that's what makes him I hold him at a higher regard because this past season, every single ball that was thrown to him was underthrown.
Right.
So not only did he beat his defender down the field and get open, but then he had to turn around and come back and beat him up the field to catch the ball that was underthrown just to go back the other way. He's a world-class athlete. There's no denying that. I have all love for Tyreek Hill, but I also have love in saying, you know what? You want to retire, man? You go ahead and retire. League, from a player's perspective, the league owes you nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. You see this now in the Lamar Jackson contract dilemma. Like, they don't even want to give you fully guaranteed money. They don't care. The biggest fight the Players Association has with the NFL and the biggest improvements that they've made upon in the last few years has been what happens life after football.
Yeah.
Quality of life, getting these guys support, taking care of their health needs, making sure CTE is recognized and following steps from there. So, but aside from that, that's the Players Association negotiating with the teams. The owners don't care.
No.
They don't care. So Tyreek, go ahead and take your bag and do whatever you want. I can see him like running his own little like taco stand on a Miami Beach,
I would
just
love
chilling
that,
and
man.
whatever.
Yeah. Look, like how much money can you spend in a lifetime? Well, with inflation, you might end up having to have a taco
What's
stand.
Ocho Cinco? Like you would think Ocho Cinco was broke right now, and it come to find out, he was when social media blew up big. He was the coolest guy to follow on social media because he'd be like, "Hey, I'm in a movie theater in Colorado. Why don't you come in and I'll buy it out? Like, or I'm at the mall at this store. The next 30 people that come, you can get whatever sneakers they want. Like, you would think he was just spending, and he invested right. He does still have money, and anything you saw on him, he said all the jewelry he had was fake. He's like,
that's
smart.
That's smart.
I mean, look, man, he gets it from a business perspective. You can be smart with your money. You don't, and then you got guys like Vince Young that like still fly and buy out every single ticket in the airline because it's like, and they end up going broke quick. Like, I don't know if you can retire early. Why not? Why until you're hobbling around like the fridge and you can't move your
hobbling
extremities
around
anymore.
like the fridge.
Yeah, like some of these guys can barely move. You've been to the Hall of Fame games
No, it's
before. Like
bad.
some of them can't even stand
Yeah,
up and
I feel
wave.
bad,
Like it's
yeah.
just, it's football takes a toll, man. And you can get paid a lot of money if you're good at your job. Why not retire?
Yeah, that's what's good about like Otis Anderson still can move around, right?
He can't hit a golf ball worth anything though. That man. I'm kidding.
Irvin Fryer looks like he could play tomorrow.
He
He's in
does.
great
Yeah, I
shape.
know. I
Yeah.
know. He probably can.
So I'm trying to think of the old heads we saw, but they all look great. Like,
Mhm.
like depending on, but like you said, when we were at that Hall of Fame, like there was some guys that you're like,
Yeah.
ugh,
Football's not an easy game on the body, man. We all know
of course
this.
not.
And it's like what they're here for your entertainment. If they stick around for 5 years, great. If they stick
Mm.
around for 20 years like Brady, okay, even better. But I mean, come on. What would you that's what I would do.
No.
Honestly. Put in 5-6 years of hard work at a professional level, get as much money as I can, and then be like, all right, see you
Taco
later.
stand.
Especially if you already won. Like, think about these young guys like Patrick Mahomes, couple Super Bowl rings,
Oh, he should
and just
go.
on top of the world. Like,
Right.
why not? What else is there to do? 'Cause some guys
His wife
play
and
for.
brother want him
That's
to
why,
stay.
dude. This is what blows my mind about Brady is this guy is just in love with
Cash
the
out.
game.
Yeah,
he's like
just
Derek.
cash
He's like
out.
Derek Jeter. Like, how many championships
all
do you
right.
need? Seriously, how
I
many
get
championships
that.
do you
Like,
need?
let's not
You
compare
play, you
Tom
do
Brady
though.
to Derek
Hold on
Jeter.
though. It's the
Me
same.
too. Me too.
It's the same type of athlete though.
Yeah.
You know, you just
I
don't
get
know when to
that.
call it quits.
Okay.
You play and play and play because you love the game. These guys are winning championship after championship, and
That's
they're
fair.
just still not fulfilled.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I think Jeter's still a better athlete.
All right,
than
let's
Brady.
go to
All
commercial break.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. Baseball. We're getting back to baseball for the third segment, guys, and we're gonna talk about the problems we have over in California. We're talking some gang related stuff. Catch it next on the Divide Live.
Baseball season normally brings us together, unless you're listening to The Divide. Now, here's Mike and Corey.
And welcome back to the Divide Live. Baseball season is back, and it can bring some of us together, but it can also rip some of us apart.
Unless it's beautiful out, and then you can't be brought together. Everybody stay home,
Yeah,
be
stay
safe,
home.
seek shelter.
Go to your basement. Don't forget to check us out, guys, on your socials. Divide Live on Instagram, Divide Live on Twitter, Divide Live on Facebook. And check out giveusashot.network for all of your clothing needs.
Yeah.
Not all, but anything in this
And
tri-state
find
area.
other shows that we keep growing.
We do keep growing as a network. Absolutely. We're all about growth here. All about natural growth.
I think that's the 4.5 inches is huge, bro.
Agreed.
That was a perfect drop for that. Let's get into some baseball stuff here. I know you and Jansen were talking about on the Daily Ticket and then on Powers Parlays. And, do we still have strong feelings? I'll tell you right now, Vegas does not care at all that Tampa Bay is just slaying it right now, only because their futures barely moved.
Yeah.
They're still like
so
6
funny.
or 7. It's so disrespectful.
It is.
The only undefeated team in baseball. And granted, I know it's 6 games, and we'll see what happens tonight. But
right.
it's funny. It's just the Vegas is like whatever. It won't last, and it won't because it's
know.
baseball. But
Yeah.
it's just funny to think about. Is Philly? You were in Philly for Tuesday's show, and you got to sit right next to a Philly fan. I have a couple Philly fans that I work with that I talked to this week, and they're not hitting the panic button for this reason and this reason only. And I'm going to ask you what the feel in the studio was on Tuesday.
No.
Phillies right now. They're towards the bottom of the division with Washington. My Philly connects are like, yeah, we were here last year. Remember? It was the same situation last
They had
year.
to fire Girardi and Philly Rob took
and not to say that Philly Rob's job is even.
Also, Bryce Harper took over that clubhouse. Like
Right.
it was obvious, and Reese too. Like, so, I don't know, man. Like everything was going right with Reese and Bryce. You knew you were going to lose Bryce this year for an extended time because he was literally only able to hit.
Right.
Had to get his arm fixed. You can't just pay the man to be a DH for the next decade.
No.
So he had to go get that fixed. He's getting it fixed. Losing Reese, I think, is huge.
A gut punch.
Yeah, Trey being new to the team, he's got to learn how to like kind of wedge himself in there. But also, like, they're finally home. And I know that's a cliche thing, but they're going to remember who they are without Bryce and Reese reminding them. They're going to be handed their their NLCS championship rings, which look great, and they're going to hoist the banner. So, I mean, it's, they're going to snap back to what Philly baseball is. And it sickens me to say that as a Met fan, but as a baseball fan, I'm excited for them. It's kind of cool.
Miami looks pretty good in that same division. So I know it's early.
In a small sample. Yeah.
Exactly. And you had asked on Tuesday, and I gave you that same answer: is are you still confident that it's going to be the Yankees and the Stros? And yeah, but like everything else, you need a bigger sample size. We're talking 7 games here, 8 games for some clubs.
162.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
We're
But you live and die by those
barely
weeks.
at 10% here.
Dude, and you're never as good when you go on a 10-0 run. And you're never as bad as when you only have 1 game in that you won. So, it's just it's gonna all baseball. I love this sport, man, because it's like life. It's a whole year. It's a grind, and they're gonna get back on that grind for sure. All these teams,
Yeah, I think everybody that was off to a quick start was predicted to be off to a quick start. Pretty much is. There hasn't been any surprises, and I think a lot of ball clubs knew that they'd have to work for this.
I'm more surprised by how teams are playing differently, like more so than winning. Like I enjoy watching these Baltimore games, man. They're running on the base bats. It's a fun. I'm like, sure, I'll watch an Oriole game. I can't wait maybe to even go to Baltimore because it's a very fun ball club. Obviously, Cleveland. Fun ball club. You learned that last year. A lot of
my god, yeah,
a lot of baseball
They're
players.
Like the youngest or second youngest team in the league.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. And Texas shocked me. I thought for sure Philly was going to sweep that series, and they came out and they played some ball.
Texas had 27 runs in
crazy.
their first 2 games.
And with that said, the Brewers too, man, they scored 20 about the same. I think 27 runs against the Mets. I know they beat them 19-0 in 2 games. And then the next day they won in the 9th, so they swept the Mets. But yeah, they scored at least like 27 runs.
Yeah, it's fun to look at. The Brewers have the 3rd best run differential.
Yeah, they're hitting homers. Dude.
Dodgers are second, and we're talking run differential. For those of you that don't know, is you take the runs scored and the runs against.
And you get the facts of life.
So the Milwaukee's sitting at around 22 right now. Dodgers are in second. Tampa Bay, the run differential, 31. That's you're scoring 44 runs so far this season, and you've only let 13 on 6 games. Like that's just good baseball.
Yeah, it's exciting.
We always, as baseball fans, me and you always get excited around this time because it's getting warmer. Things are getting green. The grass is growing again, and then we're watching baseball. Like we always feel.
To give you an idea how small of a sample this is, Joey Gallo's killing it.
Oh, I know. A bum.
Absolute bum.
Stand it.
Man, he cost us not that much money. No, he did. He cost us a lot of money.
Jerk.
Rizzo gave it back to us.
He did. Rizzo was so good to us in our gambling woes last year.
Nobody beats
But Gallo,
the
when Gallo was in his drought, bro, we just kept it. Double. It's like the same.
We're
like,
it's
got to come.
Happen.
It's got to come.
It's a major league baseball.
This guy's playing at a professional level.
Betting on hits. We weren't even betting on home runs.
No, we weren't even betting, dude. It's like when
you're talking about.
Oh, sorry.
It's like when when we're watching football and we bet the 1 o'clock games and we do terrible, and then we just double our bets for the 4 o'clock games.
I know.
It's like we were just rolling it into over and over. And we're like, he's got to get it. It's Joey Gallo. This guy does this for a living. And he just didn't, guys. Spoiler alert.
No,
he didn't.
Joey Gallo.
Nothing too crazy.
It's probably because we're not betting on him anymore. He's like those guys still.
That's my curse. As soon as I start betting on him. Let's talk about the craziest incident that's happened in baseball in the last week, and it has nothing to do with playing the actual game of baseball. Talking about the Angels and the A's game. I think it would happen on April 4th, and we're talking about Anthony Rendon heading to the dugout, grabbing an Oakland A's fan by the shirt. Some words were exchanged. The story goes that I guess the fan was cursing at him, calling him something, the B word, which if you've ever been to a baseball game, is kind of mild.
That's
That's
mild.
what- right.
Yeah, yeah.
However,
Especially in New York.
if you
I guess
I
he
know,
can't
yeah.
play in New York.
No,
Or
no.
Philly.
Well,
yeah.
if you look at the video, and we'll post it to our socials,
Uh-huh.
it's not like he was just yelling from the outfield.
Right.
know,
it's like this tunnel. So
It's literally a tunnel that it's
what would you?
I would equate it to like basketball players that come out on the
Well,
court.
the crazy part is, yeah, it's very simple. Great. It's like a tunnel for basketball, but the only difference is then that gate swings open, and then that's the same way the fans exit.
Is it really?
Yes, it's because it's such an old,
Coliseum.
awful ballpark.
Mhm.
So the fans are way too close to the players, and especially like the adrenaline. You just won or lost the game, like and this guy's heckling you. It would have never happen in any other ballpark because they're leaving through the dugout. They have to go out to the outfield through this tunnel to leave after the game, and the players, the fans are right there because eventually then they go through that same tunnel
Oh
to
my
exit.
god, dude! Oakland is just
Oakland's trash.
demolish that park.
Did you see that other fact? 11 minor league teams had better attendance. 11 of 13 minor league games that went on I think it was like Tuesday, had more people in the stands individually than Oakland. That's crazy.
2 years
MLB,
ago,
we got to do something better.
Fun fact: 2 years ago, when we were in San Fran, San Francisco wasn't playing, but I still wanted to catch a game, so Oakland was playing out there. And I thought San Fran was actually over in Oakland, just playing over there, and it was like usually it's like a 40-minute ride from San Fran to Oakland. But I like Google mapped it, and I was like an hour and a half to get there, and I was like, nah.
I was gonna say I do want to go there. Like
I want to go, but it was like,
Yeah.
dude, it was a spur of the moment. I think the game started in like 2 hours. It would have been like rush, get tickets, go over.
So they're struggling with attendance to the point where they ask the 7 line when the Mets are in Oakland
so they can start
to do discounts. Like just offer, like I know you're not doing Mountain this year, but just offer tickets to your fan base and see if we could get any to go. And I think good for Oakland, good for their sales ticketing guys to be smart and try to figure out a way to grow their attendance. But you're just asking another fan base to take over your stadium so you could make some money. It's crazy.
Dude, I mean, and shout out to the 7 line. I mean, they know how to market. They know how to. I mean, group sales is group sales. You see that whether it's right in Philly. They want to sell tickets. They don't care who you're rooting for.
No.
So listen, let's get back to this video. Not only do you have to walk out the same tunnel, again, it's going to be on our socials, guys. That little gap that he manages to grab this guy's shirt by,
Yeah.
like if this guy's standing up straight.
Yeah.
Like it's below his waist. So this guy's has to be bending over the fence,
to hear what he's
leaning over.
saying. That's why I
calling
think
him names.
I think he got the wrong guy.
I think so too.
Yeah, because that guy was like, "Oh, okay, I'll come over to you." Like, you know what I mean? So I think he got the wrong guy because then he's like, "You called me this," and the guy's like, "No, I didn't." Like,
Either way, if the guy did and got scared or didn't, it's I feel in good points and bad points to both. Like as a player,
right,
you should be able to just ignore that.
Facts.
But at the same time, as a fan, you're like, they're still people, and there's still people that can hurt you. These are professional athletes.
Yeah.
They're like, you think like the Indiana Pacers, the malice at the palace, like these average fans run onto the court to try to fight NBA players thinking they could win.
What are you, nuts?
Like, what is going on here? And I get it, man. I don't want to discredit anybody that thinks they could fight, but
also,
dude, treat them like human beings. Like, you're an adult rooting for a sports team and you're cursing at another grown man about it.
Right.
Like, come on.
The only thing I want to backtrack, because like I saw a bunch of guys like veterans and other players saying like, if this was any other situation in life and that guy did that, he would have gotten his face kicked in. And I disagree with that because I get cursed at in my job all the time and I can't do anything about it except for hope that realize like, hey, I don't want to leave with that person.
Right.
So I'm not going to react.
Right. But this is like,
because there would still be repercussions. Like, you can't go knock somebody out just because they called you the B word.
Well, you could, but I think there's a sense of like when you're at work and it's customer employee, or you know what I mean, or player fan, customer employee, student teacher. You know what I mean? There's just that boundary line where if it's just customer and customer, like you mouth off to somebody another customer, then it's, yeah, you still can't go around assaulting people. But
No.
at the same time, I feel like the cops would take you both. Where the cops would be like, look, you're the employee here. You have to at least hold, you're like held accountable. I don't know. It's dumb.
Amazing vintage Carlos. He was like, yo, I would have taken that little slap and just cried all the way to the bank.
I would.
Yeah.
I would have too. And I
Even-
would have felt bad about it
Even
because I don't think
Embiid,
it's fair to players, but at
Yeah.
the same time, I'm poor and I'd like to get paid.
I think it was Embiid. He like punted a basketball and hit this poor guy
Oh,
walking out of the
Jesus
thing. But if that was me too, cha-ching.
Oh. Are you okay? Who
Quick.
am I?
No, don't give me a bag of ice. Get me a bag of money quick.
What? What's my name? Well,
Uh,
what is my name? Yeah, no,
Love
I'd
it.
have amnesia real quick. I
Yeah.
tell you, man. Listen, as a player, you have to do better. As a fan, you got to realize you just can't mouth off to everybody. I think that's a problem we have in society as a general. You can't just say whatever you want to whoever you want. Social media has you all real easy just talking
Oh,
smack
yeah.
to everybody. Mike
And
Tyson said that on his podcast.
Yeah.
He's like, social media,
media.
social media.
You should
has
have to put your
everybody
address.
real
yeah.
confident to say whatever they want to whoever
Yeah.
they want. And there's
Yeah.
some truth to what Mike's got to say. Mike has been very wise in his old age.
Facts. Yeah.
Both Mikes, both you, Mike,
Oh,
the
thanks,
parlay
buddy.
master here, and then
I
Mike
know.
Tyson. One of you was really good at parlays. The other one's really good at beating people up.
Mm.
Find out Tuesday which
Find out
one it
next
is.
where I box Mike
All right.
Tyson.
Guys, we will be back next Friday. My partner in crime here will be back on Tuesday for Powers Parlays. Tune in, call in, check it out. Happy Easter to all of you if you celebrate, and we will
Happy
see you next week.
Passover.
And happy Passover as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. See you next week, guys.